Good morning, everyone. Namaskara. At the outset, the Honorable Minister for Higher Education, Government of Karnataka, but he also holds the Ministry of IT and BT, Science and Technology, Skill Development, Entrepreneurship. So I think everything that is related with NEP is part of it. And therefore, I would like to call him NEP Minister. We have Dr. Vishwanathan, who is the EPSI President, former President, Dr. K.P. Gupta. We also have the Executive President, Chaturvedi ji, 3 Vice Presidents, Mangesh Karad, we have Bhalla, and most important, the host Vice President, Jayaraman. Madam Malarvizhi, who has been passionately driving as a lady who is absolutely passionate in education. She has been driving an educational institution over there. And all the who's who, many of them vice chancellors, directors of the institutions, some of them former, some of them present, and all those who are interested in the new education policy and the way forward, they are all here under the umbrella of EPSI. And Palnivel, I think he's always on the background. He doesn't allow me, whenever there is a function of EPSI, sir, aapko aana chahiye. We will change the date if required, but you must come. This is how he starts doing it, and so I had no choice but to come here. But secondly, this is like homecoming for me. I don't know, many of you may be knowing, some of you may not be knowing. I think I graduated from the now KLE Technological University in Hon'ble, but earlier Avatar was VVB College of Engineering and Technology. Professor Joshi is there from there, who is now in the Karnataka government for implementing the new education policy here. And then I studied in Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru for my master's and PhD. So till my entire education, I have been in Karnataka. And in the beginning, Chaturvedi ji beautifully explained about religious leaders. There are people of, those who have developed this state, not only in education, but in the field of art, culture, music, dance. I think Karnataka plays a major role. And we are meeting here in the precinct of the national education policy and the way forward. I think that's very, very important. And I was also reflecting, you talked about institutions being developed by societies. And probably the largest number of such groups who have started educational institutions anywhere in the country may be from the perspective of philanthropy, which is what Chaturvedi ji said. And I'm a beneficiary of that. This institute is also a philanthropic institution where I graduated. And the post-graduation and PhD one is another very interesting model, which is a first PPP model in the whole country, actually. Today we talk about triple ITs being in the PPP model. But the first PPP model, with the blessings of Swami Vivekananda, who gave encouragement to J.N. Tata, and J.N. Tata in turn started working in Bengaluru. Mysore Maharaja gave land, and then the government supported, and the educational institution for high-end research came in, which is one of the finest institutions in the country today. I think that is where Karnataka has played a role, and that's why this particular meeting here has a great significance. Now, all previous speakers.
Background में photograph is there.
Background में है, Indian Institute of Science का है. So therefore, we are in the right perspective, right place, and it is one of the first states which has come forward for implementation of the education policy, and has set up committees and has started working on it, hand in glove with the central government and central government agencies. Maybe sometimes they are ahead of us, sometimes in some matter we may be ahead. I think it's a competition between Karnataka and the central government in terms of implementation. So there are several issues which my previous speakers have spelled out. And immediately after this session, after we listen to the Honorable Minister, we will have an opportunity of interaction with you. So I would like to be as brief as possible in the inaugural session. And subsequently, I will have a full 1 hour chance to speak to you, to interact with you. So I will be very brief. I think one of the most important things which Dr. Vishwanath raised has a great value, that our gross enrollment ratio when the policy was drafted was 26%. Today it is 27.3% or so. But still, reaching to the level of 50% in the next 10 years is not a matter of easy task. Because from 0.7% at the time of independence to come to 27% in 75 years, in the next 10 years, if we have to catapult to 50%, and also population keeps growing. Please remember, population is obviously stabilizing. It's a good, the birth rate is coming to 2.1 and below. That means it is getting stabilized, but still there is an increase in population which is going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. So today in higher education, if there are about 3.8 crore students, that is likely to be a number of 10 crore by the time this target is to be achieved. So that means we have not to double, but nearly triple the number of opportunities that are required for providing to our children who are in the age group of 18 to 23. And that is where the role of the government comes in a big way. All said and done, our economic power is not as comfortable as many of the countries. Therefore, those who can afford high fees, they are going to be limited in number in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And therefore, government starting many institutions is important, supporting government institutions is important, and that task is happening. Dr. Jairamji saw only one part of the budget, and that's why he said that the budget is reduced. But I would like to correct that there is a budget of 50,000 crore earmarked for National Research Foundation, of which 10,000 crore is for the current year. That means it is not reduced by 3,000 crore, but it is increased by 7,000 crore, sir. So this is a small correction I would like to make. Because the budget heads are different, it looks like it is being reduced, but somewhere else it is being compensated. I think that is one part. But more importantly, the importance of the private players in education cannot be just wished away. We have more than about 70% of the education today is delivered in higher education sector by the private sector, self-finance institutions. And therefore, as pointed out by either earlier Bhallaji as well as Jairamji, that government must support in a big way in terms of at least research. And that was also supported by Dr. Vishwanathan, that government has to come forward to support research. National Research Foundation is the umbrella organization under which all institutions will be treated equally. There will be no priority for government institutions or private institutions. The National Education Policy has clearly delved into it, and the formation of NRF is also done in the same manner. It is absolutely on the competitive basis, and therefore, if the government institution is not competitive enough, they will not get the funding. If a private institution is more competitive, they will get the fund. But the change has happened for quite some time. I don't know, many of you are not knowing or are knowing. At least AICTE from nearly more than a couple of decades has been always supporting what is known as our two schemes, MODROBS scheme and Research Promotion scheme, where we do not treat government institutions separately from private institutions, and many of them, those who are private institutions, must have got several research projects from the funding of the AICTE based on purely merit. And that is why I think steps have been started taken. But government has its own priority, and since poor children go to the government colleges, therefore more funding is given to the government institution. This is a matter of fact. But as far as research is concerned, there will be no differentiation between the two. And therefore, another area which has been opened up is that of online education and open and distance learning in order to reach to 50% gross enrollment ratio. We cannot have brick and mortar universities and colleges in large numbers as we developed from independence till today, because in the cities and towns, land has become very expensive, not available, and there are a lot of litigation, and therefore, how existing infrastructure can be used by having maybe double shifts, like industry does in 2 shifts, 3 shifts, why not educational institutions? Secondly, why not we make use of online learning facilities which are available? And during pandemic, that was a gift. Pandemic was a curse, but we made use of pandemic for starting what is known as online education in a big way. All those, including from the nursery school onwards till the higher education, everyone has gone on board into online system of education, and we have tasted the technology. And now the technology is available at our disposal much better than what it used to be about 5 years, 10 years ago. And therefore, online and ODL education, including full degree programs, have started by many institutions and is being supported. So reaching 50% must be easily possible. The only challenge which still remains is how do we reach out to all nooks and corners in terms of connectivity. Today, sometimes even in moderate towns, sometimes the internet connectivity is poor, and sometimes I'm not able to see the video or audio is not clearly audible. I think that is where government is seized of the matter and BharatNet, and to reach out to all nooks and corners. A couple of years ago, we were very proud that electricity has reached the last village in the country, in Nagaland. Today, no village is there in the country which has no electricity connection. So at least we have reached. Similarly, internet has to reach to all the villages, all the hamlets, and that is what government is doing. It may take a couple of years, but certainly we will reach 100% robust, non-disruptive connection, which is going to be continuously available, like electricity. We will be able to provide this education at the doorsteps. We also have this Swayam platform created about 3-4 years ago by AICTE, and it is being enhanced further by IIT Madras as Swayam 2.0 version, where more than 3,000 odd courses are today available, which are run every semester, and students can take these courses for credit transfer. So education at the doorsteps, that is anytime learning, anywhere learning, any device learning, from any best teacher learning, all of them are possibilities today. But not only that, at a very affordable cost. It's all free, in fact. For taking an examination, government had kept a fee of rupees 1,000. But those who pass the exam or take the exam, they will get it back also. So this is absolutely empowering in terms of taking the courses. It is up to the universities now, both central, state, private and government, all universities, to adopt the UGC regulation, which allows 40% of the credits to be taken through the Swayam platform. How we empower our students. Because many times we keep listening from students, we say that the policy is student-centric, but if there is a curriculum in which there are electives, some names are given, but many times these electives are not offered to the students because we don't have a faculty in that particular domain, and students are left in the lurch. How, if the course is available from an IIT faculty or some other good university faculty, why can't we allow our students to take those courses, also get them onboarded into the transcript or the mark sheets, and then allow students to learn whatever they are interested in. And this also allows us for what the policy talks about, multidisciplinary education. Because there are many monodiscipline or single discipline colleges and universities, maybe technical universities or colleges, management institutions, arts college, commerce college. I think we must give them the taste of multidisciplinarity in two ways. One is different types of courses which they are interested in. Apart from the degree in which they are going to earn, all those variety of courses, the taste of that, if they want to have, they must get it. And they will be able to then connect the dots. How the relationship between physics and psychology, or music and mathematics, or mechanical engineering and music is there, we will be able to make students to understand if we provide students to allow taking courses from different disciplines. In a given institution, maybe we don't have faculty from all disciplines. Let us make use of technology that enables us to take these courses from other institutions. Collaboration and cooperation is the funda. We must go ahead with, within the region, we have clusters. There's another area where high-end research funding is going to happen now. It's called GLUE grant. The ministry is seized of the matter, huge funding for maybe 5-6 institutions which are high-end research institutions in cluster of places, maybe like Bengaluru, maybe Pune, maybe Hyderabad, maybe Chennai, maybe Kolkata, maybe Bhubaneswar, maybe Chandigarh. There are all variety of institutions in such areas, management institution, science institution, engineering institution of high order, quality institutions are there. And also there are CSIR labs, DRDO labs, and how the facilities of each other can be together used. Additional grant can be given where there are missing equipment, and then they must share. Sharing is the most important. I think this sharing has to happen. I think in the beginning, our earlier speaker was also saying that one HOD does not speak to other HOD. Forget about inter-institutional collaboration. I think that is to be broken. You know, these Berlin walls are no more to be existing. So we have to not only speak to each other in our own institution, but also across the institution in the same city, across the cities to other places. Also, we are talking about internationalization. How can internationalization happen if we are not speaking within the country with ourselves? I think that is where the cultural change has to happen amongst the leadership. So some of you talked about teacher education, development of leadership. I think there are several programs being launched by the government in terms of whether it is through AICTE called the UKRI project, where faculty development program and leadership development program is happening. In terms of faculty of other colleges, there is also a LEAP program, which is run by IITs and IIMs and some of the central universities, and also deemed universities. I think this is what is required to be done to make our teachers to be passionate. Unless teachers are passionate, nothing will flow down. And I think for that, whatever leadership development is required to be done, it has been undertaken, is happening. And there are other areas like skill development. This is also very important right from school. If you create students who are interested in vocational education, skill education, why should it be separated? Every general education must be accompanied by skills, and every skill education must be accompanied by general education. And therefore, the new National Higher Education Qualification Framework, which is under process, the togetherness of the National Skill Qualification Framework and the Higher Education Qualification Framework, they have to merge with each other. And every opportunity must be given to the young boy or girl to learn whatever they are interested in. So that is where what we call often student-centric policy with empowerment through the teachers. I think this is very important. And the policy very beautifully talks about exploring full human potential. I remember Swami Vivekananda's words, every human being is divine. When he takes birth, he brings with him something in his DNA. But how do we recognize it? How do you further support it, mentor it, guide, and then bring it out? That is the role of the educational institutions, teachers, and that is what our policy has been continuously doing. And I'm sure Honorable Minister will throw light about what Karnataka government is doing in terms of this and how we have to take forward. And I'm sure I'm getting another opportunity, so I will close here. Thank you very much for coming in large numbers despite the fear of the third wave. I hope third wave will not come. We will successfully continue our education in the face-to-face mode in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Listening to the chairman, sir, is always a delight to the ears of the depth of the information he shares with the audience in his USB. He always picks up from where we all have stopped thinking, and whatever he says or communicating in his speech is always full of innovation, addressing the need of our. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us always. Now I request our Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Government of Karnataka, to deliver his inaugural address. Before that, I will request Dr. Jairamji to please.
Namaskara. Good morning to all the dignitaries, invitees who have come from different parts of the country. For the national conference, implementation of NEP 2020 challenges and opportunities for educational institutions, being organized by Educational Promotional Society of India, KUPECA and COMEDK. On this occasion, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the EPSI President and educationist, a legend who has been very vocal and very clear in his message. VIT Chairman as well as the VIT Chairman, Chancellor Sri Vishwanath, and the alternate President, Mr. Chaturvedi, BIMTech, and our very respected. I know him from childhood. I have grown in his backyard. So, the Vice President, the Senior Vice President, Sri Jairam Sir, M.R. Jairam Sir, and the Chairman for the M.S. Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, Bengaluru, and the Professor Mangesh Karat, Vice President. And I come to your institution, Sir Karat. You keep conducting every year the huge festival. Yes, sir. So, I've been part of your function. So, as well as Balal Saab, Gupta Saab, and our AICTE chairman, whom I know very closely, he has come many a times to our rescue, many a times. So, consistently, he's shown a lot of, he has given a lot of support, and whatever required support and enabling in many situations. I thank him for all the kind support given to the government of Karnataka, sir, and particularly my Department of Higher Education, Anil Sahasrabudhe ji, and Malarvizhi madam of Krishna Institution, Coimbatore. So all the legends are on the dais, and off the dais legends are there. The chancellors, the vice chancellors, chairmen, founders, professors, who is who in the education, all of them are here in this function. It's an honor and it's a privilege for me to be part of this function. I thank EPSI for organizing this national conference in state of Karnataka in Bangalore city. I thank you, sir, on behalf of the government of Karnataka. Sir, particularly, I'll just go through a prepared statement itself. It will become too long if to keep elaborating. The National Education Policy 2020 envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly, as all of you know. Let me make it very clear from the government, that's all. All of you are very well versed with this. It's been your profession, and with passion you've been working in this area. Transforming our nation sustainably, that's the most important. Since we are in the globalized world, we have got no other option to be the best in the world. It is not just being best in our place, we need to be the best in the entire world. So nothing should stop us to get into this level, not being second to none. Probably in this process of directly transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and a vibrant knowledge society by providing not just education, by providing high quality education to all. It's not for few, it's not for niche. Anybody can become anyway. Nobody can become anybody. So, in this circumstance, we have seen how the Kal Chakra has been moving. The people with humble beginnings, they rise to a topmost level. The topmost person has come down. So this transformation can happen because of the knowledge. Because today we are having a knowledge-based economy. A very one innovation or an idea can transform the very next day. What is relevant can be next day irrelevant. So that is the kind of dynamic changes are happening. So probably we do understand where we are, what needs to be done. The only solution, the only right royal way for our society or for our nation is education, a right, complete education relevant for 21st century. Probably in this direction we are trying to walk and make a difference in state of Karnataka, as the national education policy announced by the government of India is something really what we have been looking forward. All the time we used to try to do things in silos, sir. You could do what you wanted in your VAT. But as a society, as a system, all of us to think in one direction, it was challenging. It used to be in isolation. IIT was started, IIM was started many years back as a model for us to replicate. That model remained as a model because all of them are not getting the same opportunity. We don't want to deny, let it be the remotest village. If education is provided in that institution, we want each and every person to get better than the IIT. It cannot be limited to few people. Everybody has got a right for a quality education. Keeping that in mind, we need to create that opportunity. Still, we can't live in a world of models. So, in this direction, probably, we had a great opportunity seeing all these things. We used to think we want even to transform. The transformation couldn't have happened in isolation. Per se, across the country, it will become in isolation, which will not be accepted by else, reciprocated by others. Even if you want to change, it will not be well accepted across. So we can't do things. Luckily, our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, fully understood. From the very day he took the office, his thought process was entirely for the transformation and bring complete reforms in the field of education. He initiated very next day or the same day, even before we could come to the power, it was in the manifesto to bring the new national education policy. Probably in that direction, it started working, which was initiated in the first term of his office, was implemented in the second term. Because to adapt the due process of consultation, feedback, went through a lot of process. It just didn't happen just like that. So keeping everything in mind, the 21st century was a challenging time for us to transform, having a more than 135 crore population, providing equity, inclusion, accessibility was very important, and that to affordable education and a quality education is a really challenging thing. Particularly in our country, we know the kind of cost involved to provide a high quality education. So in this direction, whatever flexibilities can be brought in, making use of the technology or the making use of the common facility or the flexibility, so that what is not available in an institution, earlier we had a very rigid system, whatever it is there, you should have in your institution. Whether it's used by 10 students or 100 students or 1,000 students, doesn't matter. You should have this facility. Who is going to bear the cost? Ultimately, we want the student to learn, to get a quality education. How you learn doesn't matter, but we want, the important is the learning outcomes. In this direction, the resource crunch is a big challenge. The priority, particularly in higher education, will not be the topmost priority of any government. Because they all get more into primary education and all other aspects. Higher education is something, it will not be a topmost priority. Fully, with a very practical understanding, because what has been spent by one government for entire education system will be required for one institution. One institution itself can take away the budget kept for entire state. That is the kind of quality institution to be built. There's a huge challenge. What has been provided to lakhs together students will be given away to few students only. And much more, some institutions have a budget of state government itself. That is the kind of challenges. So what we need to do here in this, particularly in our society, we need to sensitize the people. We need to sensitize a society. See, you want to build your future can be built only through institution, educational institution, nowhere else. So whatever resource is there in the society, it needs to be channelized towards the educational institution. The institution cannot be just run on the basis of tuition fees. We are working in isolation. The very moment we are running the institution based on only on tuition fees, means it has not been well received, not been well accepted by the society. There's something really wrong here. We want people to come forward to philanthropically contribute, give back to the society. Giving back is not in any other way. It is only through education. The real empowerment, The real empowerment can happen through only through education. The real equity can be brought through only education. And address all the challenges of society. If you don't know how to take care of ourselves, how will we take care about the society or our profession, anything? Probably in this direction, we need to insist even the old students who passes out, what has been seen in the Western countries, how the donations come forward. Why not in our country? There's a complete disconnect. The private institution been seen, sir, every person, even your own institute professors, your own students will see your institution as a commercial institution. It is a money spinning institution. That is a kind of perception. That is a kind of perception. That's the biggest challenge what we are seeing is the perception battle, sir. They get the benefit, they get good education, but ultimately they say your institution is the most commercial institution. Among the student, among the teachers, your own teachers, they see your institution as a commercial. That is the biggest challenge what I have seen, sir. As a people's representative, I am telling you frankly. This perception battle, if you are able to fight it properly, we have won the battle. So we need to convey it very strongly. Many people don't even know the educational institution is established through societies and Section 8 companies. It is not for profit. This is the only field where we need to work not for profit. We need to make this very clear. If this is not done, how much we do, how much reforms we try to bring in, they tell it is because of some payments. It is because of some adjustments. We provide more autonomy, we provide more increased number of private institutions. If you increase more number of deemed university, there is a kickback. The positiveness needs to be built. This is what I have seen as an higher education minister, frankly. So, I know what I am doing, sir, but I don't bother about this. But I am telling you the situation what we are. But even in this direction, government has played a very vital role in state of Karnataka and many other states also. State started with providing the aid for the institution. The aided institution was supported by government to pay the salaries of the teachers, and more so, many of the, even the capital cost was provided, the lands were provided. It's all been, the state has encouraged all the institutions for the establishment of the private institution. In state of Karnataka, we were the first people to encourage the establishment of the private medical college, engineering colleges, all the institutions, we were the first people in the forefront. But we need to collaborate more and more. DBT and DST also has provided a lot of funds for the research work, and AICTE has provided a lot of funds. UGC has provided a lot of funds. There's no discrimination, per se there's no discrimination. Other way it is, other way around, we are ignoring the blame on the governments, we are ignoring the government institutions. That is the blame we get as in a government. As a government, always they compare, now it has become open for everybody to compare between public and private, where we are, what we are. So that kind of accountability and comparison has come into the picture, and it's been very challenging, but anyhow, that comparison should exist, that accountability should be there, that transparency should be there to compare and ensure that competition, healthy competition will be there ultimately to make it student-centric. The student should get all the benefit. When I was discussing, as our Anil Sahasrabudhe was telling, when I meet the industry people, they all complain with regard to the quality of the output of the students. Competence, quality, leadership, storytelling, personality, it is not complete. It is completely off-baked. They are not employable, they are not industry ready. The institution is still very far off. It is like, comparing among the best, it is among the worst, it is the best. It is not the best on the criteria, it is the best of the institution is seen only among the worst, it is the best. It is not the best among the best. That is still we need to achieve this milestone on the quality levels. We understand there are a lot of challenges, but we need to work in this direction to give a better future to our society and our country. So quality, and in my government also I keep insisting, you want a better future, you want to be the best in the world. You want to be the best in the world, spend money on education. Because this is where the money grows, the people grow, the society can grow. All the solutions, for all the problem we can get solutions. But that has not been prioritized. Still, they think twice. Because this is a long-driven effort, they want immediate results. Immediately to impress the people, we just go for immediately what is visible. So even the understanding among the people, the electorate should be sensitized. What is the priority? Where the expenditure should increase. As sir was mentioning, 6% of the GSDP should be spent for education. Government of India has been spending to that extent, but when it comes to the state government, it is not the fact. The implementation happens mainly in the state level. It is not in the national level. National level, it is the establishment of the Center of Excellence and IIT, IIM, AIMS. These kind of institutions will be established. When it comes to the number, it is all the state. We need to spend more and more money on the higher education in the state budget, and that is the way forward to facilitate. We need to allow the private institution also without any discrimination. In the state of Karnataka, we've been functioning without any discrimination. Either the government and private, there's no discrimination between the private and the government. It's been the same. So in this direction, the industry was asking for a big number of youngsters or the graduates for the employment. There is running short of the numbers for the employment. In the past 6 months itself, more than 10 lakh people have changed their jobs in IT industry. More than 10 lakh people in the past 6 months have changed their jobs. Even now, the present demand for more than 4 lakh graduates is there. Right now, more than 4 lakh people they want to recruit. Recruitment, they require more than 4 lakh people. They're running short. What kind of students also get into the engineering program or the higher education? You've seen the quality of the students. So the quality of the students also need to improve from the schooling level. And even once they get into the higher education, what kind of quality education we provide to them also is very important. So the industry and the institution need to collaborate in a very big way. In the state of Karnataka, now we have been talking very closely with the industry for their participation. In all the institutions, now the NEP permits now the industry to be part of the institution as a part of the board of governors, board of management, they can be part of it. And we are trying to facilitate that and provide the independence to each and every institution as soon as possible. Every possible institution, we want it to become independent. Independent, it should have the autonomy and it should be given the responsibility that decentralization should happen. No more the power should vest with the state. The decentralization is the way forward for the locality or for the community to own that institution, because it should not be just government and the teachers and the student. The community should be the main part, the industry should be the main part. So we are facilitating that. Within a matter of time, we are going to start with the big numbers to allow the independence of the each and every institution as soon as possible, give them the autonomy for the establishment of the board of governors, and as well as allow the industry to be part of it and the community to be part of it. And with regard to the theme taken up by the EPSI, the themes are very relevant. Probably we are also working on those direction. The conference aims to address the following themes that are of significance in implementing the recommendation of the NEP 2020. Reforms towards quality and accreditation, expansion of higher education, institutional consolidation and restructuring, transformation in governance and leadership, skill-based education and employability-driven higher education, industry-academia linkage, benchmarking and international positioning, benchmarking and international positioning of Indian institution with a vision towards internationalization at home. That's very important. Continuous faculty development. In state also we are working in this direction only for the continuous faculty development as well as the internationalization. And with regard to all the themes, we are focusing in this direction and ensuring the effective implementation without wasting much of time. We are working in this direction. And more so important, as far as possible, don't run programs which is not relevant to the time. Many of the students are not even aware what kind of opportunity is available, what kind of employability is available. Nobody is aware. The demand and supply itself is not been understood, connected. The demand and supply market is not been captured. In the state of Karnataka, we are trying to capture that and ensure where is the demand, what kind of supply needs to be maintained. We are trying to work in that direction on a real time. On a real time, we are trying to bring all possible players. It is mandatory for each and every company to report to the government. Wherever is a requirement, it is mandatory. But somehow it has not been happening so far. But we'll ensure that connect between the industry, the demand and supply will be very well matched and connected to ensure their requirement also will be addressed very effectively, and the future of the student also will be very well addressed, so that it should become very meaningful, at least to make his livelihood and get employed. So with these few words, I would like to stop here and wish all of you all the best, and we will be very positive and facilitate no discrimination, no holding on, and we need to understand and get all sections of society to be part of education. It is not just we few running the entire system. We want entire society. We want all the resources to flow towards educational institution, and we are also working. I keep telling this each and every place, even in my floor of the house or outside the legislature, anywhere. I keep telling this perception. We need to get out of this perception. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Namaskara. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, for addressing this gathering in spite of your busy schedule and sharing with us your vision of education. You have highlighted different issues and solutions there too. I would request our President and all other office bearers to please present a memento to the Honorable Minister of Education. Sir, Madam, please deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. At the outset, I would extend my heartfelt thanks to Honorable Minister, Dr. Ashwath Narayananji, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Government of Karnataka, who has taken time to come over here. Sir, your speech was amazing. See, we, as educationists, either serve society in the form of a society or a trust or Section 8 company, as our minister said. And it's a non-profit organization. Of course, all self-run institutions survive only with the tuition fees what students pay. And quality education only survives managements who contribute education passionately, happily, only survive in the society. And of course, all the surplus amounts of course, received in the form of tuition fees. We again plow into institution, do our infrastructure facilities, do research, contribute on center of excellences, invite, do lot of leadership programs, contribute FDPs to develop faculty training, leadership skills, everything, whatever money we receive from these students, we contribute again to the society, trust, and to the institutions, and that's why we survive as good institutions, and all the topmost 50 to 100 institutions in the country survive only because of that, and I mean all the self-financed institutions. Whereas IITs, IIMs, all the government-aided institutions have less faculty, but they get more salary, and all the graduates who come out of those IIMs, IITs, most of the percentage of graduates go abroad, settle well, and you all know who are the CEOs of major companies all over the country. So, Minister's speech was very practical, and here I would like to tell him, like, who contribute much to the education very passionately, nicely only survive, and who take it as a business. Education as a business, institutions doesn't survive in the society. But of course, at the end of the day, as how you said, we are all blamed for collecting more fees, doing a commercial business, and that's the order of the day, sir. I think it's you who should represent to the Prime Minister to tell us, like, that is not institutions are doing only for the service and to upbring the students all over the country. And your speech was very, very practical, sir. On behalf of EPSI, our deep appreciation to this. So it's you who should represent to the Prime Minister, sir. We are not commercial, definitely. We all contribute. And with deep sense of appreciation, I thank all the office bearers, President, Vice President, and all of us on the dais for of EPSI. And our special thanks to our Honorable Chairman of AICTE, he has been the mastermind of making AICTE as an e-governance portal, and you have a help desk anytime, anything in AICTE you can always call, and we all belong to southern region. We were treated second in par with other regions, but after AICTE chairman taking over his post, we are so connected to AICTE and we are recognized nationwide with this. And I thank all the participants who participated in this national conference. Thanks one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. With this inaugural session is over, and we are having the tea break for 10 minutes. After that, we are having the interactive session with the Chairman AICTE for 30 minutes. Tamil Nadu representative wanted to honor the Honorable Minister.